Hello friends, hello fans, loyal audience, haters alike, you're all welcome. Politicians, you name it. You hate me, go ahead and watch. Uh, Here you get the facts. Uh, Yesterday I made this video about Trump and Putin and Joby and so on, and but it wasn't so clear. It was impromptu, improvisation, like I always do, right? So today I took points. I made a list of points that I need to clarify. Trump is really, by speaking of or blurting or barking, Third Reich. He is fishing for votes in the white community. That's all. In the Nazis or there are those in the white community who have those. Harbor those feelings about the current state of the U.S. and the undercurrent and the forces twisting it and destroying it and building it and so on and so forth, right? And they, of course, hail from northwestern European communities. Not all of them. Not all of them, no. Some of them just look like they have come from Europe, but they really come from somewhere else. Or from a number of places, let's put it this way. They're like the motley crew. So basically that's what he's banking and catering to those feelings, and trying to draw attention and get votes, whatever votes. That's the sign of desperation, folks. That's all he's trying to do by talking about the Third Reich. Really, he's just trying to sway the voters, the white voters, to vote for him. Really, he's trying to harvest, right? One day his son, not the older son, the younger son, spoke about shekels, right? So and so getting shekels. I think that was in the last election. Shekels, like he's trying to insinuate that he's against Israel, right? Or Jews or something of the sort. No, folks, because the Donald Trump family is Jewish, right? So if there is reality to his statement or substance, or if he means what he's saying, then this is within the it's a family feud. It's within the family, right? So that's that. He's fishing for votes. What will he do? You know what? Let me go back. I told you that Nazism and communism are sister movements, right? They bud out of, they grow out of the same root. No, I'm not. This is not a metaphor. Like they are similar in ideas and similar in dogma and have they're like twins and this is not they're not similar in dogmatic structure and purpose and making and so on. No, they're really sister movements. They are twin. They are joined at the hip. They are the same base for the vice that crushed Europe, and it was intended to crush Europe. It wasn't something that just grew up in Europe and within Europe, right? There was a purpose for communism, there was a purpose for Nazism, and they achieved their purpose by killing hundreds of millions, destroying the old Europe, and then the new Europe basically is a subdued Europe that basically serves and void of all that, all the traditions, all the background, everything that Europe was is no longer after World War II, in fact. Not 100%, but there was on historic proportion, there was a great deal of damage and destruction that was committed against Europe in the last century, right? One of those participants in the act was actually Nazism and communism. Well, the main two are Nazism and communism. Now, I did tell you that they have also sister movements, real sister movements, such as the Muslim Brotherhood, such as the leadership and founders of HAMAS, such as the Islamic Revolution in Iran. They're anything but Islamic, right? But and here and there, of course, and so on and so forth. Modern day Nazi movements, they are in fact not Nazism. They are what's called honeypots, basically. You got your Mossad elements setting up these Nazi movements and so on and so forth, right? To attract and discover those who still have European sentiments, right? Who believe in free Europe and so on and so forth. So they attract them, and then once they show such interest, they basically target them. And same thing, you know, when you go to a show, when you go to a last fling or whatever it is, and then you see a kiosk of Islam, right? You know, they're talking about Islam and whatnot it is, and then you get interested and come and try to find out what's going on. They immediately mark you and target you because these guys are intelligence agents, you know, masquerading as Muslims, you know, offering you Islam and literature about Islam and so on, when they're really Mossad, right? And the sister movements of Nazism and communism in modern day, it's like I said, Muslim Brotherhood, Al Qaeda, ISIS, you name it, right? And they're not many, they're really few. But they give, what their purpose is really to work from within and destroy the nation from within. So ISIS, you know, they're very few, they're symbolic, right? But the main acts of terror are carried out by what's called intelligence agents and agencies such as Mossad, such as probably CIA, FSB, and so on and so forth, right? And they all agree about destroying. So, for example, they all join and agree, regardless of their differences, about destroying, say, Germany. So they create Nazism, right? Or in Muslim world, they want to destroy Islam, so they all join FSB, Mossad, CIA, and they all join about destroying Islam. So they create something called ISIS and Qaeda, right? And they commit terror acts in their name, and they throw in the fire and ire and of Western nations or Eastern nations with weapons and so on. So they come and basically burn a country like Syria, or like in Africa, or like in you know, the Middle East, and here and there, right? This is happening on all over the place. But two movements are also sister movements. I want to talk to you about those. One is the Ku Klux Klan, and one is the civil rights movement led by, if you recall, what's his name, Martin Luther King, right? When when I was young, before I immigrated in 1981 to the United States, I've heard, we read a little bit, so I've heard of the Ku Klux Klan, and I read just a little bit about it. Really, I wasn't really very fond of it, right? But when I came here, I expanded my knowledge of them. I read about them because they were notable. How they burn crosses, and they have those pointed hats, witch's hat and so on, and they dress all in white, and they're anonymous. And from what I read was they were really, the vast majority of white America was actually had membership in the Ku Klux Klan. And then suddenly they disbanded and, faltered and so on and so forth. It troubled me, the concept troubled me. You were so far ahead, right? You were so far advanced, right? You were so far advanced in they were just poised to really, actually, if they wanted to, they could have won the election and taken over the United States. I remember one of their leaders, or their leader, called Hiram. Hiram, like there are low rams and there are high rams, High rams means like very high, and they have big horns, right? Or Hiram, or Haram. Haram is really from Arabic. Sometimes it's used as a name. What it means, it's really of haram. Haram, or really pyramid sometimes. What it is it means forbidden, right? And sanctity. Like haram, it means sanctity, right? Sometimes they say harim, right? Harim, or women of the house. That does not mean too many wives. What that means is the forbidden women, right? That's your sanctity, that's your sanctuary, and so on. And the women in there some of them are forbidden on you, some of them is your wife, right? One of them or more is your wife, and so on. And they're forbidden, that's like your borders and so on. So that's where the word comes from. It's used as a name sometimes, right? And then at the same time, it's used as a haram or pyramid, right? Haram, right? Haram, haram, right? That's what haram is, really, pyramid. And then that's where the name haram is forbidden, and it's used as a name in the past, right? So Hiram with horns, Hiram, that leader of whatever, that is, right? So they were established obviously by Jewish people, right? So at the height of it, it faltered, right? And that's where the question comes in, right? Is when it's at the height, those leaders who created it and so on, cause it to unravel. You know, they make uh, they cause it to self-destruct, right? To unravel and basically falter and disband. Why? Because that has a big psychological, negative psychological effect on the nation. Number one, they're not able to do that again. Number three, they begin to tire, right? They lose their sense of challenging the enemy and then becoming independent and right. It happened again. The Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, they arrived at the helm, right? You know, they became president for 6 months, but the Muslim Brotherhood is no different from the Ku Klux Klan, is no different from Nazism, is no different from communism. It just faltered, right? Intentionally by its own makers, by its own leaders, by its own core, right? Which is really not Islamic, right? The Muslim Brotherhood, not Islamic. You know, many of those are actually Mossad agents, right? And they, of course, and now the Egyptian people, and then they appointed a Mossad Israeli president called General Sisi, right? So now that is a fixed, some kind of a fixed. So there's no hope for the people, the masses, to have leadership, because anytime there's any real leadership that emerges, they immediately chop it off, they decapitate it and make sure that no independent movement arises. That's one of the reasons that they create such movements, is not to allow for other movements, right? Because, you know, like this place can only have one, right? So can you imagine during the Nazism, like another movement arose? You know, number one, it will cause confusion among the masses, and two, Nazism will chop it off right there and then. And I think it happened. They killed a lot of people. One of the movements that brought them to power, which is the stormtroopers, Hitler and company and Nazism, they basically executed them, right? Same thing happened here, same thing happened there, same thing happened everywhere, right? In Iran, in Muslim world, non-Muslim world, Christian world, Hindu world, Buddhist world, wherever you go, it's really the same once time and again. And then at the height of the war, when Germany was about to really do away with communism, Nazism made sure it faltered, and then they betrayed it, sabotaged, you know, Germany, and then Germany, of course, became history, right? So that's the reason, you know, fishing, and then the civil rights movement, the same thing, you know, Black and African American community was boiling, right? And they were poised to do something, right? Either they get like some kind of a deliverer who will take him out of bondage, or they, you know. So they brought one of them called Martin Luther, and guess what? After he's finished, well, he's not real. He started talking about the promised land, but no, his color doesn't allow him, or who he is. Oh, he was used like Neo in that movie, The Matrix, right? And of course, they served him, you know, a something, right? Right afterwards, very same people who supported him, very same people who killed him, right? And then the full movement faltered, and ever since I'm looking at the geopolitical situation of African American. After the civil rights movement, really nothing happened, and nor will anything happen, right? It lost that momentum they gathered back then, and you know, like emotions, charged with emotions and so on, that faltered. And they still have guards, right, on that movement, on African American. At least they try to form something new. Who are they? They're called Rabbi Jesse Jackson, Rabbi Louis Farrakhan, and all those in the Congress, Al Sharpton, and then you got yourself Rabbi Obama, and oh man, they're the agents of chaos. They're the agents of horror, of hell, that is keeping the African American community the way they are. Hey, Joby, you know, here's a task for you. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I can give you a task. Why don't you someday just try, right, all by yourself, and go to those deep African American communities and see how they live? Oh man, and you would think this is America, rich America, right? Oh man, I lived there sometimes, and I drove there not too long ago, I think. Man, these guys, the way they stand on the corners in their apartments, and they always lived off everybody else, right? After everybody else. They have nothing for themselves, nothing new. They always take over where others leave, right? And not just that. What? Here's $100 for your milk. You single mother. 60% of them don't know their fathers and stuff. And guess what? Try to you black African American, try to go find a good job, right? See what happens, right? So Joby, try to go there sometimes and find out, right? See how you feel. Anyways, so that's that. So the civil rights movement was nothing short. It's a sister movement of the Ku Klux Klan, the same founders, same nature, same dogma, same secret society, same thing, and they crushed America. White and blacks have absolutely no hope of ruling themselves or becoming independent. And what happened? They go like in Germany, at least on the Western Front. German, I read that white America is 80%. Have 80% of white America have German harbor or inherited German heritage, right? So on the Western Front, at least it's German killing German. For what and for who? Guess what? Right? So what is Nazism? Nazism is a movement that was created to really destroy Germany. That's the purpose of it. It wasn't a perchance or a subsequent or resulted, the destruction of Germany resulted because of their bad behavior, because of so-and-so criminal acts. So, no. They were, the purpose of it and the work of its leaders and founders and core team, right? And culture and so on was to destroy Germany. That's why communism, all these movements are the same. The Ayatollahs, they're the same. Their purpose is to subvert and local governments and destroy the nation and subjugate it to guess what? You know who, right? So destroy people from within, that's all. All these movements, even Islamic, non-Islamic, Christian, racist, whatever it is, they are meant to destroy nations and people from within, right? They go like cancer from within and they destroy the nation. I just mentioned a few to you. If Trump comes back into the office, if for you Americans, this is it, say good night, good night. I don't think he's going to allow you to go to sleep either. So he's going to do a few things. Number one, he's going to siphon off many trillions, right, on your account to Americans, like he did, like many others did. Bush did, Obama did a lot. He's a brother, beloved brother of Trump, right? Oh, trillions, so many trillions, and now Joby is doing the same thing, but not as much as Trump. Trump was like notably very audacious. A very audacious thief, right? They're stealing trillions, and when he comes, he's gonna mark quite few trillions on your account and just basically hand it over to stock market. The stock market and the Putins and the Ayatollahs and the Hezbollah and you name it, right? The Qaeda and ISIS and Putin. He's gonna finance Putin now in China, right? He's gonna pay a lot of your trillions and billions to China to give to manufacture weapons for Russia. That's what he's gonna do. And of course Taiwan, you know what he's gonna do in Taiwan and in Ukraine and. This guy is a Russian guy, folks. This guy is a Russian guy. No more, no less, right? So dollar, Ukraine, trillions, Taiwan's, and he's gonna help BRICS, B-R-I-C-S, and his brother, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, right? And so on, and those Gulf Hebrew countries, regimes, Arab, you know what I'm talking about, right? He's gonna come and give favor and help BRICS rise against America. That's what Trump's gonna do. Nothing more, nothing less. Trump, folks, believes that this America is a problem for the world. It's a wrong idea. It's a country that cannot exist. That's what Trump is. That's what he plans to do. That's what he's talking about. You see it. You can feel it, read between the lines, and you can see what he's talking about. You can clearly surmise his directions and his intentions. Clearly sort out what he's trying, what he will do. He said so, right? What did he say about your constitution? About arresting people, about so-and-so, right? This guy just And he's got this humongous machine behind him, right? It's the Netanyahu machine, and you know, the Putin, you know, one of its tripod is Putin, Iran, and China, and MBS, and those Arab Hebrew regimes in the Arab countries. I mean, Arab regimes in the Arab countries, and so on, right? So let's talk about Russia. You may think Russia, you know, like I noticed that there was at least in the West, they breathed the sigh of relief when the Soviet Union was destroyed, and then Russia during the Gorbachev era, you know, relinquished East Germany, and they allowed the reunification to happen, not because they wanted to or they're generous. It's because they were destroyed. They have no choice, right? Really. I mean, they really have no say in what happened. Remember Erich Honecker, right? You know, kissing with Gorbachev, with Brezhnev, right? Oh man, so very fucking disgusting, right? They and their brotherly love, right? You know, remember there's like this caricature or picture, God save us, or this artist, God save me, or save us from this brotherly love, and there was that kiss between. You know, like real wet kiss between Erich Honecker and Brezhnev. And this also kiss was between King Abdullah of Saudi, who died before the Salman, right? Zalman, right? Of Saudi, right? Kissing with George W. Bush. Man, you fucking shame, man. Right? So post-communism Russia is really it's a more lethal, more potent enemy to the West than it was during communism. During communism, it was a rigid body, right, with a lot of military hardware and so on. But its people were no longer ready to fight a world war. So now, still the same, but now they have a lot of leverage in the West, in Germany, in, you know, like Germanic nations, in England in particular, France. France, you know, he talks a lot, this guy Macron, right? He talks a lot about you know, fighting Russia and sending troops to Ukraine. At the same time, right? He's vacating capitals and countries in Africa and allowing Russia to take over. There's absolutely no risk of war or anything else if he stayed there or defended those positions, but he is giving up those cities in Central Africa to Russia, you know, Russian regimes and so on and so forth. So which one, what do we believe, right? Him talking about sending the troops to Ukraine, which he never did, right? When did he say that? Like 2-3 months ago? And then giving up land and positions and bastions to Russia in Africa? Just think about it, folks. So Russia now has a lot of leverage in the West. Here in Washington, they occupy the Congress, and of course, you know, like being Netanyahu, they got a lot of help, right? You know, those Republicans, you know, the MAGAs, you know, like that's why MAGA, when you look at MAGA, right, MAGA is red. It's really a communist color, right? Anyway. Right? So it's a communist color, right? I mean, and that's what you see in there. You understand what I'm saying? It's like that, right? So communism is already here, and Russia hasn't changed. It's just changed face, it's changed name, it changed ID, and now it's projecting itself, the Putins, you know, and so on, as like a democracy or non-communism, and but guess what? Russia is as foul, as deadly as it was during the communist revolution, during the communist time, and their intentions are northwestern Europe. Believe it or not, if it wasn't for Ukraine, they would have taken over Western Europe, northwestern Europe, in 6 months' time. If it wasn't for Ukraine, believe me. And during regimes in Germany and here and there, they were in fact waiting for them to arrive. You know, like they were on a promise. You know, imagine that big long table that Putin used to sit on, that very big table, and on it, like European countries are like dishes, right? He was gonna eat them one at a time. That's all their story. Okay, now I want to tell you about Joby. Joby, Joe Biden, we have those old Arabs said something, right? I'm gonna tell you about it and why it's important. It's very important for you, especially, right? Goes like this. When all Arabs saw someone hesitating about something or doing something and not doing another, or the vacillation, or so they want to remind him, right, an older guy, and they would say, "Hey, man, you're closer to your grave than your crib, right? Because we're between the crib and the grave, right?" They remind someone, what is it you're doing, or trying to hoping for you're closer to your grave than your crib. What I'm trying to say here, I don't know why you're not doing what you should do in Ukraine, right? If you're afraid that those people who support Russia are going to hate you, they already hate you for what you did in Taiwan, right? And when you stop Putin from using tactical nuclear weapons and other things as well, they already hate you. So if you provide the correct, right weapons and arm Ukraine, yeah, they're going to hate you, but that's not going to increase the hate. To your on the gate of history, suddenly you're this unexpected leader of this big battle. Don't falter, man. Don't be shy. This is your time, right? And you're at the gate of history. Believe me, you fought World War III with China in the Pacific without firing a bullet, and you won. You stopped Putin, and you did many other things, right? The fight of the Gulf, what is it? The Bay of Pigs, the John Kennedy fight. You did that without firing a bullet because Putin was going to use tactical nuclear weapon. Man, you're already in history, and they may not be talking about it, but you're one of those. You're just like the unintended president who suddenly became the leader of this Western front, right? What are you waiting for, man? I mean, they already hate your guts. I know. I talked to them. I heard them. Like I talked to them. They're talking to me. One, as a matter of fact, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing, right? I don't want to say where and when and the name. He says China will take Taiwan, right? He said so. China will take Taiwan. China will not take Taiwan. But you already did that. You already did so and so. You already did so and so. What are you waiting on? Like, you're afraid that they're going to come at you? Man, you're already closer to your grave than your crib. Continue this. You already did few good things. Do the other few things, right? Ukraine, man, don't worry about them. They may come and start like pitching at you and calling you names and. But believe me, if you arm Ukraine to the teeth and make sure that Russia doesn't make it into Western Europe, oh, you will be one man in history. You're just the unintended field marshal that suddenly took over, right? You heard me. You heard me, man. Make sure that that menace from the east doesn't come west. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. Don't worry. Let them blame you all they want. Let them bark at you all they want. Let them call you all the names they want. Let them try to whatever they want to try to do, man. You're already close. You're like how old are you? Over 80? I mean, you're like they say, old Arabs say, you're closer to your grave than your crib. I mean, I'm being brief about this here, but you can think it over. There's no time for you, man. Suddenly you just like want to sit back and relax, and, fall over on Ukraine and vacillate or hesitate. What are you talking about? Just dump all the weapons that you can into Ukraine and let that Putin go to hell, right? This is your time, man. I mean, you already entered the door, the gate of wide gate of history, right? But you suddenly stop there. You don't want to continue. Why? I don't know why. You're afraid that they're going to hate you. They already hate you, right? Whoever let them hate you, let them hate you. Come on, man. Come on. So that's that. Joby, just it's your time, and suddenly you're the guy who makes that decision, right? That big battle that is it's taking place now, and you're looking on, right? Come on, man. Come on. Just arm Ukraine, man. Give them the designs. Give them method of manufacturing, the process of manufacturing and design and so on. Like they say, you give a man a fish, he eats for one day. Teach him fishing, he'll eat lifetime, right? It may not be said, but a lot of people actually are now looking and understanding the magnitude and the significance of what's happening in Ukraine. And those guys are waiting to see how the events will transpire, right? And you're standing there? Come on, man. Come on. Well, you guys, boys and girls, have a nice day. And, you know, that's a clarification on the video yesterday. I just made a few points clear now. They're facts. Like they say, remember that rabbi used to say no spin zone here? Oh, he was spinning you like at hypersonic speed. But here it is no spin zone, no spin zone, no spin zone. These are the facts, folks. These are the facts. Have a nice day and talk to you later.